From R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, this is The Retirement.
When you retire, if you want an exciting life, you need a boring investment strategy.
Matters.
If you enter into retirement without a plan for income, you're not retired, you're simply unemployed.
Podcast.
Hey, this is your host, Dale Smothers, and you're listening to the Retirement Matters Podcast. My hope is that you will find the information you need in every single show on how to do one of the three things: either saving more money more efficiently, planning better for your future where you can live in retirement worry-free, or my favorite, how you can live a happy and fulfilled life in this life you have been given. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending it listening to this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast. On this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast, we talk about one thing, and that is the retirement plan. We talk about the importance of the retirement plan. We talk about the concept of what retirement planning actually is. And we talk about how difficult it is to retire without a plan. Retiring with a plan becomes much easier. And I love the analogy that I use there right at the end that we talk to a lot of our clients about, which is solving a maze. If you've ever played with a paper maze as a child or even as an adult, the easiest way to solve that maze is to start at the end. This is the exact same thing about retiring. If you start with destinations in mind, it becomes easier. Even then, there are complexities that you need to make sure you avoid, and there are pitfalls and potential hazards along the way that you need to be aware of. We are here to help. 270-600-PLAN to get in touch with our team. Now, if you're listening to this podcast simply for educational purposes, and you're going to do this on your own, fantastic. If we can help in any way, of course, let us know. But if you just tune in from time to time because you like what you hear in this podcast, please continue to like, subscribe, and review our episodes. We cannot thank you enough for the support that you continue to pour out for us as we get our message out to those who need it most. So, without further ado, we're going to jump to this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast titled, Planning for Retirement Should Make Living in Retirement Easier. Enjoy the show. Good morning to you. I hope you are doing well and you are ready to start discussing all things retirement matters. This week's show is going to be packed with information on ways to plan for your retirement and specifically how we should be planning for retirement in the environment we're in right now. Taking into consideration both market headwinds and market tailwinds, what are some areas of opportunity that present themselves and how can we take advantage of them? So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, I want to jump into our positive focus for the week. And this pause for positivity is certainly not a revolutionary thought, but it was a word of wisdom that was spoken to me by a Navy SEAL captain that I had the pleasure of meeting a while back. And he was discussing how the Navy SEALs do some incredible work around the country and, of course, around the globe. And he made a statement that stuck out to me. And I actually shared this in our team meeting this past week. Once a week, every week, we have a team meeting where we discuss clients' big moves that they're wanting to make, some big decisions that they're facing. We make sure that we build an entire team around our clients, and anyone and everyone is capable to contribute to helping this client fulfill the plan and get to their destination that they desire. And in this team meeting, we have something very similar to what we do here on the radio show, where we started out with a positive focus and a positive thought. We call it our Wednesday wins. This is something that I shared with the team that I thought was worth bringing to the radio show. Because we go through life wanting to help people, perhaps having the desire to help people, but if we're not careful, we will overlook opportunities to help people because we think that maybe it's just not enough or that's nothing extraordinary. It's just a real simple gesture. Maybe we hold a door open for someone, or we help get groceries in for an elderly couple that we may see. We help someone get out of the rain. It's very simple. It's very easy to do. It costs us nothing. And for that reason, maybe it's so simple that we just fail to do it altogether. And so I want to give you some encouragement in the words that were spoken to me, again, by a Navy SEAL captain. You know the Navy SEALs. They're one of the most elite fighting forces in all of the world. They are the best of the best of the best. And when they do things that are almost thought impossible up until that point, they get no credit. They take no credit. They seek no credit. They do a lot of what they do behind the scenes to help this country continue to be one of the best countries in the world. And because of this, the Navy SEALs have a reputation of being heroes. They have a reputation of being elite warriors in our military. And this Navy SEAL captain, he was talking to me. He said, Dale, when we go out to complete a mission, it's likely because no one else can do this mission. It's because it's so challenging and so difficult and so tough that no one else is able to or willing to go out. But what is unique about the Navy SEAL team training is that we're never one time in our training asked to do anything extraordinary. Our training is not full of impossible tasks. It's full of very simple tasks. But we're asking each individual to complete that task over and over and over again without quitting. He said, Dale, it's not that the Navy SEALs do extraordinary things. It's that they do very ordinary things extraordinarily well. And that stuck with me. We are not asked to do extraordinary things to make this world a better place. We just have to do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. I think that could apply to each and every one of us who are listening to this show right now. I know that it applies to me. I'm confident that it applies to you because I know that you want to make this world better than you found it. That's the type of people we work with here at RDS Wealth. And in order to do this, we're not asked to do extraordinary acts of kindness. We're not asked to give all of our money away to benefit the poor. We just have to do the ordinary things extraordinarily well. There's a book that I read many, many years ago that says everything I needed to know, I've learned in kindergarten. And you know, I know that that particular book encompasses a whole lot of things about what you learn in kindergarten. But the premise of that book is, if we can just take lessons that we learned as children and apply them now as adults, the world would be so much better than it is today. These things that we learned as a child to put someone else's needs first, or to share, or to make sure you smile, open the door for someone as they're walking in. These are things that I learned as a child, as I know you did as well. Make sure that you are nice to people. Mind your P's and Q's. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Please and thank you. These are things that are normal as a child because we're taught them as a child. Now, whether or not children today are getting taught these things is a totally different debate. But I'll tell you this, in the position you are in right now, you have the ability to shape the world that you live in and those around you that you interact with each and every day. And it starts by doing the ordinary things, the normal everyday things, extraordinarily well. So I challenge you, as I will challenge myself this week, to make sure that we are doing the basic things, that we are back to basics in preferring our fellow man, in loving our neighbor as ourself, in ensuring that we are spreading kindness and not hatred in this world, that we are smiling at those. You know, smiling is contagious. Smile at the next person you see. Smile at them real big. And I guarantee you that if you do it long enough and with the right amount of genuineness, you will receive a smile back. And if they don't smile back, you have planted a seed of kindness inside of them that cannot help but take root. This is the challenge this week. Let's do ordinary things extraordinarily well and watch the world around us get a little brighter day by day. All right, we're going to a break. Whenever we get back, we are going to talk about planning and why it's important in the first place to have a true plan for retirement. I've talked to a lot of people here over the last couple of weeks, and we have used some analogies that I just want to share with you about building a retirement plan and why it's important to first understand where you're trying to get. Where is your destination in retirement? What do you want retirement to be like before you make many moves with your retirement accounts? Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back after this.
Thank you for listening to Retirement Matters, presented by R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. We help folks just like you retire the way they desire and live happy in retirement. If you'd like to speak with us, maybe even just ask some questions, give us a call at 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-PLAN. And if you enjoy the information in this show and would like to hear more, you can access previous shows by searching for the Retirement Matters Podcast on the podcast platform of your choice. That's the Retirement Matters Podcast, available to you 24/7 wherever you listen to podcasts. We also produce a weekly newsletter. Receive it free to your email inbox by signing up online at rdswealth.com. That's rdswealth.com to sign up for our free weekly newsletter. Our phone number once again, 270-600-PLAN, and online at rdswealth.com. Be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter.
All right, welcome back to the show. I want to jump into a general overview of what retirement planning is all about. And retirement planning is much more than just picking the right stocks and bonds. Retirement planning is much more than just putting your money in mutual funds and hoping that your account grows. It's not very likely that you can outgrow all of the problems that you will face in retirement. It's not very likely that you can outgrow challenges to your income, such as long-term care needs or overtaxation inside of your retirement accounts. It's also not very likely that you can outgrow major market corrections while needing income. These things become something we have to plan for, something we need to make a roadmap for, if you will. And at RDS Wealth, we do just that. We build roadmaps for all 5 major points of decision that you're going to have to face in retirement income years, starting with where income's going to come from, when you should turn on things like Social Security, your money from your IRA. How do we pull money from a Roth IRA? Should we get it from the Roth IRA or the CDs that are sitting at the bank? These types of decisions all go into that income plan. The income map tells us where to turn and how to get where we're trying to get. And again, by prolonging the amount of income that we have in the account as long as possible, ensuring that we're not running out of it before we pass away. Now, with the income plan out of the way, we can move to an investment plan that begins to put your money to work in the right places. The investment plan is where a lot of people will start. They start by, where should we invest this money? And the reality is, until you know what your income needs to be, it's very difficult to invest the money correctly. But if you start with investment planning first and fail to plan for income, you could come up much shorter than necessary in the income that you're looking for, and you start selling things very inefficiently, or you could place money in accounts that are inefficient. And both of those situations yield a less than optimal retirement. So again, if the goal here is to optimize your retirement, live the best possible retirement you can, starting with an income plan and then moving to the investment plan becomes a prudent move. From there, we move to tax planning, making sure that we are not paying unnecessary taxes in retirement. This is where we get to Roth conversions, 401k transfers to IRAs that then turn into Roth accounts. All of this goes into a well-written tax plan and ensuring that we know how we're going to invest money to make sure your taxes are as low as possible. And strangely enough, Medicare is also discussed in the tax plan to make sure that we are not spending too much money or making too much money throughout the course of a year, where we are now falling into IRMAA, IRMAA. IRMAA is a rule that will make your Medicare premiums higher if you make too much money. And we talk to people all the time who are subject to IRMAA and never realize that they could lower their Medicare premiums by as much as $300 or $400 per month per person. This husband and wife savings could be as much as, $600 to $800 a month in savings just by putting together a proper tax plan. From here, we move to healthcare planning. The healthcare roadmap helps you understand what Medicare options are available, what Medicare supplement policies should you take, how can we lower your Medicare bill altogether, again, in conjunction with the tax plan. And we look at the long-term care expenses that you may incur during your retirement years. We want to help offset those expenses any way we possibly can. And we also want to make sure that your family knows how you want care to be delivered. And when that happens, when mom or dad ends up in a nursing home or needs assistance, or maybe it's you or your spouse who needs assistance, we want to make sure that everyone in the family knows what the wishes were and how to carry those out and how to pay for the extra care. All of that goes in the healthcare plan. And we move lastly to the estate plan, or the legacy plan that we like to call it. This is what we want our money to do when we pass away. And in this legacy plan, we make sure that we have all the accounts properly structured to pass to a loved one or an institution that you care about when you are gone. And maybe while we're analyzing all of this data, we realize you may need a will, or you may need a special needs trust, or an irrevocable trust, or a living revocable trust. And when we see that, we begin to discuss the benefits, of course, the drawbacks as well, of not doing that type of planning. If we move forward with that type of planning, we will pull in an attorney to help us draft the documents and move forward with making sure that your money does exactly what you want it to do when you pass away. All of this, everything I've just talked about for the last 5 minutes, must be included in a well-written, well-balanced retirement plan. If you do not have a plan for retirement that includes all of these, then you have no plan at all. To say that your plan is to put money in mutual funds, to buy good mutual funds that will grow over time, and to just take 4% from your mutual funds and hope that your account stays somewhere close to the same or even grows over the next 20 to 30 years, that's not a plan at all. That is simply an investment philosophy. In other words, if your advisor has not sat down with you and discussed how you're going to take Medicare, or discussed how you're going to take Social Security, or your advisor has not at least considered the idea of Roth conversions, whether he's talked with you or not about it is a totally different matter. But if your advisor hasn't at least mapped out those things, then you're probably working with a growth advisor, an individual whose job is to grow the account, and that's it. You need an income-focused advisor who is going to make sure that your income comes to you in retirement efficiently, effectively, and with as little tax as possible for the extent of your lifetime. In addition to this, you need clarity around Medicare. You need clarity around how we're going to deal with long-term care expenses. You need clarity around when you should be taking Social Security. All of these things go into our retirement plan that we call the Retirement Atlas. And it truly is a play on words because we build roadmaps for all 5 of these areas. All 5 of these areas get addressed in an individualized map, and those maps are then bound together and delivered to you in your very own Retirement Atlas. And that's not it. We walk with you through the journey as you walk through retirement, helping you understand what twists and turns lie ahead And in the instance where we get to a crossroads where we have to make a decision on one way or the other, which way we should proceed. This is our commitment to our clients at RDS Wealth. And if you would like a little bit of that in your own retirement, give us a call, 270-600-PLAN. Earlier this year, I went to Rome and spent a couple of weeks just having a vacation. I went there originally for a market consensus, and while there, I extended the trip, learned a little bit about global markets, what was going on in the world of investing, and then spent some time in Rome. And every day that I was there, I used my Google Maps. And periodically, I would leave the hotel and map out a destination. I want to go see the Trevi Fountain, perhaps. Or I may want to go see the Spanish Steps. And what I would do is pin that place on my maps and then walk the destination that was laid out before me on the Google Maps. But if I had not had a map, I would have literally been roaming around in Rome with no destination in mind. And what's funny is we see a lot of investors and savers doing the same thing as they are entering into or even living through retirement. There's a lot of activity, but there's no destination or reason for investing or a target for income or a balance that they need to hit in mind. This is an issue. You have to find a target and walk towards it. Not only does this allow you to know the steps that you need to take, it also helps you understand when you made a wrong turn. It's not uncommon to make a mistake. It's not even a deal breaker most of the time. As long as the instant you make the turn, you're aware of it. Oh, I shouldn't have done that one. I need to turn around. Or maybe we're walking straight and the destination tells us that we need to continue down this road, but that road is under construction or that road is blocked. Well, if I need to make an additional turn to take a detour, the instant that I see how to do that on my map, things become easier. I ask you, do you have a roadmap for your retirement? Do you know where you want to get? And if so, has anyone sat down to show you how you can get there? If not, give us a call. Again, 270-600-PLAN. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss solving a maze. This is another analogy that we use in building the plan, and we're going to discuss a piece of a retirement plan that typically happens close to the end of the retirement plan, and it's called long-term care expenses. And we're going to discuss ways to help safeguard against those long-term care expenses right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back after this.
It's 4th and 1 with 2 seconds left in the game. Less than 1 yard separates you from victory. You have the best running back in the league, but your coach calls a Hail Mary.
As silly as that sounds, we see a lot of retirement managers being far too aggressive with your investments when a more conservative play would be a better fit. You have questions, we have answers.
Contact R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-7526.
All right, welcome back to the show. We've got just a few minutes. And to reemphasize the point that you need a retirement plan, I want to go back to a game that we used to play as a child, which was a maze on paper, right? A paper maze. You've ever played with one of those? You know exactly what I'm discussing. There is a starting point and a stopping point or an end point. That end point, a lot of times when I was solving a maze as a young child, I would go to the end and I would work backwards, because working from the end told you every single turn to move. There was only one way to go. This is exactly what we're doing when we build a retirement plan. We are not just hoping that we make the right turn along the way, starting at the beginning and trying our best to know whether it's a left or a right. We're not even looking 2 or 3 steps down the road. Instead, we are starting with the destination in mind. I like to think of retirement as a journey that we, together with RDS Wealth and our team, walk with you. This journey may be taking us from, say, Kentucky to California in a theoretical, let's say, analogy. And if we're trying to get to California and together we're setting in Kentucky, your turns are going to be entirely different than if you tell me, Dale, I want to go to Montana, or Dale, I want to go to Florida, or Dale, I want to be in Maine. Now, granted, I'm not talking about a geographical location here. I'm talking about a theoretical destination in your retirement and how that your plan will look vastly different from anyone else that you know because of your desires in retirement. Taking advice from a cookie cutter internet search or a growth advisor whose number one goal and only thinking is grow the money. And I'm not against growing money at all, but you've got to build a plan. And whether it's with our firm or another firm who specializes in retirement income phase, building that plan is the first step. How much money do you need to live life the way you desire? And once we know that, we can build you an income plan. And once we know the income plan, we can build the investment plan. And we can make these investments generate the income necessary to not have to worry about what the stock market is doing to still live the lifestyle you desire. And with the money that's in the investment plan, we'll make sure that it's tax efficient with a tax plan. And in that tax plan, we also make sure that we avoid IRMA and taxes on Medicare, which leads us to the healthcare plan, where we help you make decisions about Medicare as well as long-term care expenses that you'll face later in life. Because if the last piece, legacy, is something you want to leave, then the last thing you want to do is see the house or the family farm be taken due to the nursing home. And if we're not careful, the nursing home or nursing home expenses will quickly drain the account. So there are ways that we can help you in making sure that you have a little extra money in the event that you go into a nursing home or need assistance from anyone during your long-term care years. This type of planning is what I use an analogy of is picking up money out of your growth bucket and putting it into your healthcare bucket. You pick money up out of your right pocket and you put it in your left pocket. It's still your money. If you pass away, that money passes on to a beneficiary. But if you need this money in your later years of life, what we call the no-go years of life, to help you pay for someone to come in and assist you at your own house, or to help you because you have went to a nursing home, if you need this money, the money you've put into your left pocket, your healthcare bucket of money, is now multiplied by 2 or 3 or even as much as 4 or 5 times. Well, what does that mean, Dale? That means that if you're like some of the clients we've recently helped, just a couple of weeks ago, over the last 2 weeks, we've helped about 4 different clients finalize their retirement atlas. And in that finalization of retirement atlas, the biggest hole that they had was long-term care expenses. And one of the things we're able to do for them is to take $200,000 out of our growth bucket and place it in the long-term care bucket. And because of their health, that $200,000 became $1 million the instant they needed long-term care. It's kind of like an HSA with a multiplier for needed healthcare expenses in long-term care years. That goes a long way for making sure that the family farm is not stripped from your possession. And this is the type of retirement planning that we put into motion for our clients that we work with to make sure that they can live the retirement lifestyle they've always imagined, free from the fear and the worry of running out of money. All right, guys, that is the show. Somehow, time has already passed us by. I appreciate you tuning in each and every week. Like I said in this last segment, We are here to help you live the lifestyle you've always imagined. If you are working with somebody right now who is taking care of all of your needs and you're just listening to this show to get the information that you hope you can understand a little bit better, fantastic. But if you need a second set of eyes on your retirement plan, give our team a call, 270-600-PLAN. If you do not have a retirement plan, now's the time to start beginning the framework of that retirement plan, especially if you're over the age of 59 and a half. Depending on where you are in your journey is going to depend on the types of tools, investments, and philosophies that we employ. But I do know this, our team is here to help. We point you in the right direction, and once you're on the journey, we walk with you every step of the way. So again, if you need assistance, we can help. 270-600-PLAN. Until we talk again, whether that's in person in our office, at a meeting, or right here on this radio station, always remember, save money, plan well, and live happy in retirement. God bless.
Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Artie Smothers Wealth Management are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Artie Smothers Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Artie Smothers Wealth Management.